You're listening to Infinite Geekiness, episode 001.
Hold on to your butt. Where am I going? We will need eyes to see.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei!
Fight!
Hadouken!
Just a flesh wound. Look, stop that! Chicken! Chicken! Look, I'll have your leg!
It's time for Infinite Geekiness with Jimmy Devious.
Got anything more you'd like to add, Sam?
Keep your pimp hand strong, white boy.
Well, I'll certainly try. I am a white boy after all. Heidi ho, hello, and welcome to the first ever podcast of the Infinite Geekiness podcast. I am your unfortunate host. You'll find out why soon enough. Your unfortunate host, Jimmy Devious. That is my alias, my nom de doom. My real name is available. You can find it. I swear I am not hiding from the feds or the Germans or anything like that. So if you want to know who I really am, maybe you should pay me. Give me $1. Just kidding. A very by the seat of my pants, totally extemporaneous podcast of sorts. So just bear with me. I will learn as I go. To start with a little bit of background of who I am. I am obviously not a radio personality of any sort. I'm just some doofus in a basement somewhere.
We're looking down on Wayne's basement. Only that's not Wayne's basement. Isn't that weird?
Trying to come up with my own voice on the internet. I'm from Houston, Texas. I've traveled all over the world. All over the country and done lots of different things. I actually consider myself first and foremost to be a writer. But I love movies. I am a movie geek. I am a film geek. I am that annoying know-it-all in every room that always knows the answer to the history questions, why people in ancient times or in chivalric times did such and such or took a crap here or did that there. I'm the guy that you don't want in the theater with you because I will pick apart every scene and tell you what is wrong with that scene. But I try to make it interesting. Sheesh, that's not a very good way to sell myself, but we're just going to have to deal with it. Also, as part of this first introduction, let me say at the time of the recording of this first ever podcast, because I am in Planet Texas, in Houston, of all places, today was June 22nd, 2014, which marks the 20th anniversary of the first ever championship in Houston of the Houston Rockets. I know that doesn't exactly fit into the geekiness moniker, but that is only because I am a nerd, so that's what I call it. But I was, and am sort of in spirit, still a Rockets fan. So I have to give some props to that team. It was really a big deal if you were living in Houston at the time. And so I have to give some notice to that this is the 20th anniversary of the Houston Rockets championship. What was I doing when they won it? Sitting on my butt like everyone else. Because I am a white boy. I don't play ball. Not very well, anyway. I can shoot 3-pointers from a driveway, but that's about it. Actually, come to think of it, from my own driveway, I beat Gary Payton's record at the time, who was playing for the then Seattle Supersonics. I don't even know where the Super... Didn't they become the... Yeah. They became the Oklahoma City, right? Is that what they became? There's somebody off the mic who is a chicken hawk who refuses to come on the mic with me. What? Oh, yeah. Gary Payton, Seattle Supersonics, had a 3-point record of 9 3-pointers. And I actually did that from my driveway because I am awesome from a driveway.
Yeah! He's on fire!
And shooting 3-pointers. Not from actually doing it in a real court. I sat on my butt, I watched it, and it was amazing.
Boom, shakalaka!
And what was really cool about it was how classy Houston actually handled their championship, as opposed to other cities that refer to H-Town as a hellhole. We handled it very well, and that's the way it should be. That's the way you should handle a championship. And that's what we did. We enjoyed it because it was the first time ever, and what was even cooler about that championship was that it was just a couple of working class guys mostly on the second string. I mean, yeah, you had Akeem Dream Olajuwon, who was a Hall of Famer, world champion class guy. Everything you could want in an athlete. But you also had guys like Sam Cassell, Mario Ellie, my personal favorite, number 25, Robert Horry.
Every time Olajuwon apparently is in trouble, Robert Horry is his bailout guy.
Who I still have my jersey for, that god-awful restyling. That's when it all went downhill, man. Is when they did those other jerseys, you know, with the stupid teeth rocket, whatever that was, in those tiger stripes. You remember if you were in Houston. For my first segment on here, I didn't really get too much into detail about who I am, but I had to give props to that first championship. Just so I'm going to take a quick breather, get something to drink. You stretch your legs and stop listening to my voice for a moment. Hit pause, whatever you got to do. Don't worry, I'll come back, because I am a slave to the pause button. Be back in a moment. And I'm back. What's your excuse? And if they're paying you to listen to this podcast, why haven't they given me a cut of that money, whoever they are? And why am I so paranoid?
Ugh. Idiot.
Anyway, for our next segment, I'm going to talk about something that I've noticed lately, because I'm up a lot at odd hours, and I notice strange and weird things, because I'm weird, and that's what I do.
Live people ignore the strange and unusual. I myself am strange and unusual.
Or do I? Anyway, late at night, I see a lot of movies that, let us say, really, really suck. And it's got me to thinking about something. About all the terrible movies that I've seen that could have been a whole lot better. And that actually probably deserve remakes. Now, I know that there's a lot of movies out there that... pardon me. I don't have a cough button because I'm bootleg, sort of geek redneck. So I don't have a cough button. I could make a cough button, but it would be attached to anything. Anyway, on the topic at hand, remakes. Now, there's plenty of movies that have remakes that don't deserve them. Really terrible sequels, or sequels that were kind of lackluster. For example, the sequel that Catface, aka Olivia Wilde, was in, Tron. Very pretty looking movie. Very pretty movie, but kind of boring. At least I thought it was. I've been seeing a lot lately that they've been showing Congo.
Stop eating my sesame cake!
Yes, I'm actually bringing up Congo. Jurassic Park. Excellent movie. Lost World. Too much Jeff Goldblum. Ums, all over the place. Of course, not exactly immune to that myself, but I'm not a professional like he is. Congo. Yes. Congo is a sin on so many levels. The special effects are terrible. Bruce Campbell, I mean, that's the greatest sin of all. Bruce Campbell.
Never fuck with the king.
One of the greatest quote machines in history.
And if you're lucky a little later, I'll let you play with my boomstick.
Being so underutilized. How can you put him in a little role like that?
That's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Anyway, that's not the movie that I really want to talk about of the Michael Crichton movies that deserves a legitimate movie. Timeline. Timeline is probably my favorite Michael Crichton novel of all novels. It's set in a period I actually love. Jurassic Park is the movie for Dino Nuts. Dino Nuts. That sounds so nasty. Dino Nuts. Dino Nuts. Oh, that's something else you're going to have to get used to with me. I will just randomly start doing voices of some sort or another. Various impersonations. Because weird. Hello. I already said that. Possibly unstable. No. Kidding. Really not. Just sugar. Or bull urine. No. Kidding. Anyway. Yes. Timeline. Timeline was a great book. Jurassic Park is the book for paleontologists. Sphere is the book for deep sea diver people. And whatever else. Yes, I know the others. I'm just having a brain fart here. I probably should have called my podcast Brain Fart. Brain Fart. Not anybody else would have that. Timeline, yes. Timeline is the Michael Crichton book for history nuts. Historians, archaeologists, not archaeologists, what am I saying? Anthropologists, especially history nuts. I loved that book. I was glued to that book. I spent my off time at work weathering Alice when I couldn't get out of my house because I was reined in and flooded in, reading that book, digesting it, enjoying it. And what a letdown when I finally got a movie. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. We've got 600 years of knowledge on these guys, dude. I know. Speaking ill of the dead, the late great Paul Walker, God rest his nitrous oxide charged soul, or whatever it is, the turbo charged, whatever. You get the idea. Whatever. Yeah, he wasn't actually bad casting. I don't even think that most of the performers in it were bad. It was just that they totally took out so many of the great details that made that book fantastic. Details like the fact that these knights, these knights who were living at that time, these were professional, kick-ass warriors. They would whip your ass. They had the Dutch guy, Merrick, who was supposed to be the hunk in the movie, and he was the hunk. Gerard Butler. Sparta! Of later fame. In Timeline. It could have been such a better movie, because if they had shown that these guys could totally kick ass. And they also showed that the languages that they spoke in the book, it's not modern English. I'm not talking about I'll stop the world and melt with you. I'm talking about real modern English. They spoke English that other people couldn't understand.
Klaatu, Verada,
They thought that the people of the time in the book, I'm confusing myself now, thought that the people that came back in time were speaking some sort of weird Irish or Scandinavian dialect or something like that. I seem to remember it was over 10 years ago. I read it during Tropical Storm Allison. Houston reference. So I don't remember all of the details. But that was something that was really awesome. I seem to also remember that they had a scene where they showed that these people took dumps in real medieval toilets.
Blow it out your ass.
And that the castles were painted, and some other details that were really, really awesome that showed that these people were not just stupid idiots. They were really top-notch. I would love to see a remake of that terrible movie Timeline done with that kind of accuracy, that kind of skill. And it could be done. Instead, we got Neil McDonough, the albino, misused, walking around with a hood over his head for like 2 seconds as the great Cornholio. I am the great Cornholio. TP for my McCoy. That's all we got. And we got Gerard Butler misused. I mean, it was alright. But it could have been so much better. I think it would be a great idea. I know remakes are overdone in today's society, but there are movies out there that actually deserve another chance. And I would be curious, for those who are actually going to brave listening to this podcast, what movies do you think deserve another chance? Deserve a real, true, honest remake? No wrong answer. Just curious. Let's take a stretch, take a breather, and I will be back in a moment. Hopefully you'll still be here. Maybe not. Back in a moment.
Hail to the king, baby.